The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Will you talk to me? Andina, will you talk to me? Will you talk to me? Will you talk to me? When you stood in that hallway, you said to me, are all your videos
I said
on
this is a
this?
summary exhibit, and we're agreeing to
Hey
all of it.
guys, maybe now's not the time. Maybe we can cool off and I'm gonna have a phone call later.
Okay,
Yeah,
how
sounds
about,
like a good
how's
idea.
this? Can I talk to you for a second?
Anything you're gonna say
And
to
then,
me.
I'm just, that way you can tell him, and then we're not gonna have a fight, and it'll be easy.
Mark, do you have his phone number?
I don't have.
We're having a fight right now.
Write your phone number down so we can get it. We'll call you after everybody cools down a little bit on both sides. Exactly, which is why I tried to get you both. to
No,
just
you
stop.
can give me your phone number, Federico. I don't want to talk to you anymore right now. Give me your phone number.
Write it down and we'll give you a call.
I'll text it to you.
You have my phone number?
I'll email it to you.
That'll work. We'll call you.
All right.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Glad to see everybody. So, you know, I had I had recorded a video yesterday, which I was going to upload today, but then halfway through it, I said, you know what? I think I should just wait and do one today, because I had a feeling that something big was going to come out. And the reason why I felt like that was because after, you know, people were talking about the FBI search at Mar-a-Lago, and the Republicans were coming out in hate and rage and, you know, calling people to arms, which one person did, you know, in Cincinnati. You know, that guy, I can't remember what his name was, but you remember he went to the FBI headquarters there with a nail gun and a fucking AR-15, okay? Shot dead in a cornfield. But, you know, when the Republicans are out there stirring up this, you know, the war drums, okay, because of this raid, or search, I should really call it. It wasn't really a raid. I knew that their protest and all that stuff about this was going to force the Justice Department to kind of reveal a little bit of why they were there in order to kind of shut them up. Of course it didn't, but you know, I wanted to wait because nobody really knew why they were searching Trump's residence. Nobody knew, and it was frustrating because everybody's guessing, because he's done such a multitude of crimes while he was president. And even before that, I mean, because he had committed tax crimes before he became president that he was being investigated for. But nobody really knew exactly what it was, and it was driving people crazy that they couldn't say, you know, why this raid was justified. And instead, the Republicans were taking advantage of that and saying, "Oh, it's a scandal. You know, it's the Biden administration, you know, executing a scandal here." To keep Trump from entering the presidential race. And I'm like, well, I'd like to be able to counter that with some facts, but there wasn't any at the time. So when I was recording the video, I said, you know, maybe I should just table this video today and wait till tomorrow and see what happens. And sure enough, it got revealed today why they had to do this search, okay? And it wasn't anything small like a lot of people were thinking. It wouldn't be a small thing, because you don't go do a search on an ex-president in the manner they did without it having to do something terrible, okay? Without it having to be terrible. I mean, they're not going to go in there and look for some secret recipe that he had stolen, and you know, I mean, we're talking about the ex-president here, and if he did any wrongdoing, any major wrongdoing, then it wouldn't be a difficult sell to get the permission from a judge to go and do this thing. So it comes out that they found, with all the boxes of shit they pulled out of there, something like 15 boxes on top of the other 15 that he took out the day he moved out of the White House. Okay, so there's like over 30 boxes of shit that he stole. That's classified data. So they come out and they said that they were looking for classified nuclear data. Okay, that was reported to them last Friday, that somebody on the inside in Trump's cabal had squealed and said, "We know, I know," whoever it was said, "I know he's got this stuff because it's not here in the archives where it should be. He's got it. It's the only other place it could be." So I imagine with that that squealer and what they're looking for, that what judge would not, give the green light to a search? I mean, Jesus Christ, we're talking about nuclear secrets here, okay? And now he's being charged with an espionage act, along with the charge of the one they charged after Nixon was taken care of. They made another law, something about records or something like that, presidential records law or something, where you can't do that. And then of course Trump made that law with a stiffer penalty while he was president. So now he's under he's under a law now that he modified to have a stiffer penalty now. How strange and awkward is that, But this is the whole Trump story thing. Nothing about this story is like, you could never make this up, okay? As a writer, I mean, this guy, he's done so many fucking things. It's just off the books. It's like never been done before. Jesus. So anyway, that's why they went down there. They were looking for these nuclear secrets. Now, I don't know specifically what the secrets were, but the theory is that he had that stuff because he was intending to sell it to the highest bidder. Okay? He was going to sell out our country, every American person, Republican or Democrat. He was going to sell out this country's national security with all this documentation. And maybe this is the reason why him and Putin were so chummy while he was president, okay? Maybe he had made some promises to Putin that he was going to give him some shit about this country, and why he's been coming out and defending Putin and calling him, it's a nice man, he's a friend of mine, and all this bullshit talk that he was saying. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe this was part of it, that he promised Putin some of this stuff. Okay? And of course, China would have been interested in that material as well. It still goes back to my concern that I was making on the video you never saw, about having copied all this data in the time that he's been sitting on it. And it's been a while, okay? More than enough time to take whatever important stuff that was in those boxes, copying it, okay? And just sitting on the documents. I mean, we got the originals, but do we have all the copies that he made? That's the other thing. I mean, can we really trust Trump to tell us exactly, the truth here? Did you keep any of this stuff? Did you take? He was lying all the time about, I ain't got any more classified material. I gave it all back, months ago or something. I gave it all back. And we find out, no, he didn't give it all back, because there were still things missing when, after they had counted up all the stuff that he did return, he held on to some of it, okay? And maybe for the reason that he knew it would be damning to him if it ever got out, that's what he was holding back. Well, remember the Kraken there, the bitch, okay? Powell talked about, this to me is the Kraken. This to me is the Kraken. This is the, Rosetta Stone here of all this fucking shit. I can't imagine something any worse than this, than to have, an ex-president, okay, who, by the way, Biden had revoked his authority to be able to sit in on classified briefings now, okay? This is the first time any president denied a former president of being able to be in on these conversations or something like that concerning national security or something. So Donald Trump did not have permission at all to take any of that stuff. No, for whatever reason you can conjure up, the answer was no. Biden made sure of that. You could say, well, Biden did it in retaliation because Trump was making it so difficult for his staff to begin, to pick up where Trump was leaving. Okay, Trump did not want to vacate the office, and that may be true. But the thing of it is, whether it was true or not, Biden didn't trust him. Biden didn't trust Trump to sit in on these meetings. Maybe he knew more about Trump than we ever did. Okay, maybe people in the know in DC know Trump a lot better. They know how crooked he is, and so they're not going to let a crooked bastard like Trump sit in on national security briefings or something like that and hear about what's going on if he's going to go and leak it out to somebody. Okay, so you can't trust him. So they didn't allow him to keep any fucking permission as the next president to be able to sit on those things. All right. So, like I said, he violated that. Okay, because he didn't have permission to keep all the stuff. He should have handed all that stuff over the minute he knew he wasn't going to give. He shouldn't have taken it out in the first place. There's no reason in the world why an ex-president would leave office and carry 40 boxes of fucking stuff out of the White House. Now, I remember watching this on TV when they were showing the moving trucks backing up to the White House and taking out Trump's belongings, and they were bringing out box after box after box, all the same size, okay? And they weren't boxes like you'd pack clothes in. These boxes were the kind of boxes that people put files in, paper files. And I remember they were asking, well, Christ, what the hell is he taking out of there? The news media was scratching their head like, what's all this stuff he's taking out? They figured it was something legal related, and they were right, okay? But yeah, everybody was curious about what the hell they were doing. So yeah, he took out like 15 boxes or something that we saw that day, and then of course we know now he took out more than that because he gave over almost half of all that he had taken, and he sat on the rest of it in Mar-a-Lago, which somebody knew he still had, and that person is the one that's got him busted here. Okay, now nobody likes Trump, even the people in his inner circle, if you will. So any number of people could have squealed on him, any number. Okay, even to the former vice president, for Christ's sake. I mean, this guy made no friends at all while he was president. He has no friends, okay? His own family doesn't even like him. His own daughter doesn't even trust him, okay? This guy has he's fucking out on a limb with his ass hanging out in the wind, and and he thinks that he was going to be able to get away with all these things. All these things. How narcissistic does someone have to be to think that, oh, I can commit the greatest crime in history and nobody's going to rat me out on it? Why? When they hate you and they find out you did something, Christ, they're going to be lining up with tickets to go and squeal on you because, hey, they're going to make you suffer now. They're going to pay you back for all the shit you did to them. I mean, how many people did he fire in his administration in the 4 years? I mean, Christ, the people were coming in one door and going out the exit. I mean, Jesus. And all the people he was hiring were idiots who didn't know how to do their jobs. Folks, I mean, I feel like with Republicans now, they're changing their tune, saying, well, if there's nothing in there like launch codes or something, then this is a scandal. Well, how much are we going to push back on this, okay? How are they going to spin this when it comes out that maybe there were launch codes in there? Are they going to, oh, no, these Republicans are insane and violent now. They're getting violent. And it seems to me like it doesn't matter what their beloved president did while he was president for 4 years. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter that, over 1 million people died in a pandemic while he sat and done nothing. What the hell kind of a guy does something like that? I mean, screw the idea of being president, but what kind of a man does that while he has the authority to change, the situation and try to help people? This guy's got no soul. He's got no fucking responsibility. He's got nothing appealing about him. Okay, even before he was president, no, that couldn't tell you what the hell reason a person should have to vote for him. Okay, there's nothing. So when I saw on the news there what came out yesterday, and the people that are protecting Trump, when they talk about the search that happened, they always have footage playing behind them of some nighttime vista of Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of what looks like police cars and stuff like that outside the gate, okay? But it doesn't jive with the facts, because the FBI did not show up to Mar-a-Lago until 10 o'clock in the morning and left at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening. The sun is still out in that time period. So why are they showing this nighttime image here of Mar-a-Lago and then telling people this was a raid and there were people with guns, and the FBI showed up unarmed and were dressed like I'm dressed. Okay, they tried to make it quiet. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep the press out of it because somebody's opened their yap and the press got wind of what was going on, and they showed up in a fucking pile of shit, to cover it. But they tried to do this where, they got the green light. They called ahead. That's the other part that I can't understand. The FBI called ahead to the Secret Service and said, we're going to do a search at Mar-a-Lago. We're just letting you know we're going to be there. We're not going to be armed. There's no reason that But the Secret Service was there with long guns already. So they were already armed, but they knew they were coming to search. Which in my previous video that you didn't see, I had said, well, that gave Trump an ample time to try to take some of the worst stuff that he had stowed away in whatever safe that he had and pocket it and run, okay? He wasn't there that day, if you recall, Monday. So that kind of put that idea in motion. That's something I was thinking, oh Christ, why did they go and tell the Secret Service? I mean, right now the Secret Service are under investigation for possibly helping Trump during the January 6th thing, by being part of it, so there's a whole mess there. But yeah, I felt like this was crazy, but this is where we are now as we close this week. This has been one hell of a fucking week here, okay? On Monday they had the search on Mar-a-Lago. The Tuesday, Trump was in court fighting over tax issues that he'd been fighting on for about 5 or 6 years now. And then, in another case, he pled the fifth over 400 times. Which is funny coming from a guy who said that anyone who pleads the fifth is a criminal. Remember when he said that? But here he was pleading the fifth all day long on Wednesday. And then, of course, today, now we find out what the hell they were searching for there at Mar-a-Lago. And it wasn't something small, okay? It wasn't something small, and I figured it wouldn't be. You're not going to do a search like this on the next president unless they know for damn sure that there's something there that's dynamite, okay? And god damn it, that's exactly what they found. They found something there that was illegal as hell. And if I was a Trump lawyer right now, I'd be sweating bullets. I really would, because his lawyer has got to be like, what the fuck else am I going to be doing now to defend you from? I got boxes filling my fucking office here of all things that, I need to defend you on all the crimes that you committed. And, I'm running out of space. You need another lawyer to pick up the slack. How many fucking lawyers is this guy going to need to defend him till the day he dies? Because that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at a guy who's going to be in court after court after court till the day he drops dead, because they're never going to be able to close up all these damn investigations in just a few weeks, okay, folks? He's got verdicts coming to him in 50 different ways. So Like I said, I think this is really going to be interesting. This weekend is going to prove interesting as to how the Republicans are going to react after all this shit today. Okay, I'm expecting that there's probably going to be more violence Saturday and Sunday, okay, over the weekend, because look, people are going to be home, they're not going to be at work, and they're going to be at home watching the news, getting mad, getting angrier, and then when, you know, someone's going to grab their whatever they got for a weapon and haul out to the street and target a FBI agent or a cop or somebody with a badge, or even a military person. All right, that's what we're looking at here. All right, so let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Dear CEO, what's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah, do you even care?
Climate change affects all of us. This is your chance to do something good.
The traffic.
I can't read
The
that.
boss. The baby. The dog. That does it. Calgon, take me away.
Lose your cares in the luxury of a Calgon bath. Calgon softens the water to leave skin feeling silky smooth as it lifts your spirits. The soft, luxurious, fragrant world of Calgon.
I love it.
Pamper yourself with a Calgon bath. Lose yourself in
Oj, kolla här. Kolla här.
Så vad är det, en lavin eller?
Ja, den är kontrollerad. Alltså, det är såna jäkla krafter.
Är det safe?
Ja, de vet vad de gör.
Pappa!
Ja, det är inget farligt. Harry, det är lugnt, Harry!
This Superman movie is brought to you by Canon, the world's leading camera manufacturer.
Quick, it's happy!
Canavision 8 camcorders.
Hey, I thought you were Superman, huh?
Hey, I am!
If it moves, shoot it with a cannon.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, talking about the mess that Donald Trump finds himself in. And, you know, it's all his own doing, okay? Make no mistake about it. None of the stuff is framed. He's not being framed for anything, okay? All these things that he's done, these crimes, these charges, are legit, okay? And anyone, you know, on TV or in person, whoever you talk to that says otherwise, they're not privy to the facts, okay? They're listening to rhetoric coming from people who are trying to defend the indefensible, okay? I mean, they've been bitching about Hillary Clinton's missing 30,000 emails since hell froze over, okay? They're still at it. But this kind of makes them look like idiots now. Because here we got a man from the Republican Party who is, well, he's missing cell phone data that, you know, nobody can account for. 7 hours of it. And now he was caught red-handed sitting on nuclear secrets. Okay? After all these years of investigating Clinton, they've come up with nothing. But in just, what, 2 years, we've uncovered so much crap from the former guy that, you know, we just, we're still stunned. And I think it's because of that the Republicans just can't swallow the fact that, you know, this man committed crimes. They can't do it. You know, because they themselves have to be, if there's any reason left in these people at all, they have to be shocked. They have to feel betrayed. Okay? They have to feel like they really were sold down the river. Okay? And it's natural for them to want to defend themselves. I mean, people do that all the time when they're wrong. How many times we watch Cops, right? Remember the show Cops? And when people get pulled over for something, they always try to lie their way out of it, okay? That's the first thing they'll do. They'll deny, they'll get mad, rough with the cop, you know, they'll start yelling at the cop. They'll say they weren't drunk, they weren't speeding, they weren't this, they weren't, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they never tell you the follow-up to these stories by saying he was found guilty or, you know, when they had to pay for. They never tell you what happened to these liars after they were caught lying. Okay, so we know that yes, the first reaction they're going to have is denial. Okay, and that's not a river in Egypt. Okay, I'm talking about denial as a person not accepting what stands before them. Okay. They're living in denial right now. It's no longer just living on another planet. It's living in denial. Because Trump has dug such a grave for himself that, I mean, he's going to be buried next to his ex-wife there on that golf club, I guess, golf field, wherever, you know, that's where his plot's going to be very soon. Okay? But this is a guy that's really, you know, like I said, it's going to take years of fucking fighting with him in court after court. I mean, yes, his fortune is going to get dwindled down, and the government has every right to do this, especially considering the gravity of the things that he's done. Okay, this man should not have had money handed to him by his father in the first place, because that was like giving a loaded gun to a serial killer. Okay, he raised Trump in this animalistic way of doing business, and now never thought of the fact that what if my son becomes a president one day? What is he going to do to this country? You know, you have to wonder. Okay, and please don't tell me that that's a stupid point of view. It isn't, because how many presidents have we had in this country who came from nobodies? You know, we've had a lot of people who grew up in poor families. Okay, in the past, and you know they got to be president. I mean, not so much these days, but, you know, in previous years, the early years of America, a lot of people were in seats of power who came from humble beginnings. So, you know, you always have to wonder, you know, if you're not raising your kid right, that person might grow up to be a politician one day and might become president. And do you feel comfortable letting your son or daughter have permission to launch weapons? You know what I mean? I mean, that was the thing here with Trump. He was the worst brother, okay? He had a brother that was, in my opinion, a lot better, okay? He seemed to have some center, and he wasn't really interested in his father's business. He wanted to go do his own thing. So not all the Trumps in that family are bad, okay? It just seems that Donald Trump is making the family name a mess. He really is, okay? It's not like the Bush family where there's blame to go around, okay? This guy here on his own has ruined his family's name for generations to come. I mean, anyone related to Donald Trump, the president, they'll probably deny that. Oh, it's just a different branch of the family or something. You know, they're not even going to want to be known as a descendant of a criminal. So, you know, like I said, it's a thing now that Republicans are in the corner now. The corner is closing on them pretty damn fast now, and they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for excuses as to why this is all happening. Okay, conspiracy theory after. I mean, they need Alex Jones bad right now to come out and save them from this bullshit of coming up with a conspiracy theory. But he's too busy defending his own ass from the shit that he's done, being related, not related, but being, you know, in business or cahoots with Donald Trump. It's funny how everybody that's associated with him or was associated with him always comes to a fatal end. You know, and maybe not, you know, maybe figuratively and possibly literally, I don't know. But they always seem to get fucked, and that's Trump. He has no friends. That's why he's got no friends, because he uses everybody as a human shield to take the shots that come his way, like Giuliani, Alex Jones, you know, what's that guy there, the homeless man looking guy, yeah, Steve Bannon now. You know, all these people are going to take the fall for this son of a bitch. And why? Was he promising them that one day they would be in working with him in the White House? Or, I mean, what did he promise these people to fall on their sword for him? And more so, what about the voters? Why are these voters so loyal to this man? Were they promised some goodies they were going to get from Trump? You know? Were they promised that they were going to get something that was going to improve their lives? None of their lives have been improved. Matter of fact, a lot of them are sitting in jail right now because of the January 6th mess. Did he pardon, or did he try to do anything to get those people released? No. One of the things that's famous that he said is that he likes poorly educated people. Okay? In other words, I mean, he said this to a crowd that was cheering him on, and he says, I love poorly educated people. He insulted them on the fucking stage while they were cheering him. And these people were too stupid to realize it. They just got, you know, they just got slapped in the face by the man they love. He called them poorly educated people, okay? He's got no respect for anybody. He doesn't care about the poor. He doesn't care about people in need. He doesn't care about the veterans that are sick, you know? You know, the only man who's proven that he cares about anything, you know, right now in politics is Biden. I mean, he's trying to help the veterans. He's trying to, you know, thanks to Jon Stewart's help, in which he acknowledged a couple yesterday or whatever. But he's trying to help people in need. Okay, he's trying to stabilize the country economically. Trying to bring work into this country that pays good, so that way people can start to live like human beings, all right, and not lose everything they got. Okay, he's trying to crack down on this stuff. That's more than Trump ever did. Of all the things Trump promised he was going to do, okay, he never, I don't even think he did one thing out of all the promises, okay, not one thing. But at least Biden is making an effort. And, you know, he's got a 50-50 Senate with one vote, the vice president being the deciding vote. And yet, with the things he's accomplished, all the right wing can do is just slam him for conspiracy theories. You know, attack him for that, attack him for this. You know, always mush mouth, always this. You know, they cannot come up with a valid point of view that, you know, that negates what he's doing in the office. Okay, yeah, he's not my favorite guy to have as president, but I can't say that he's been all negative. I think he's done some positive things. Okay, I wish he'd come down harder on the right wing whenever they start to stonewall him, but, you know, that's just not where he comes from, I guess. The way he was a senator for a long time, and I think he's learned some things in the Senate that, you know, but I think the Senate today is a lot harsher than it was when he was senator, so I don't know. Point is I wish he had a little more initiative, you know, a little more assertiveness, you know, when it comes to dealing with them crazy bastards, you know. But at least he's getting something done, okay? You know, they say the unemployment is down, okay? At very low levels, what, 3%, I think, which is really low. So that means people have jobs, okay? Whether they're good paying or not, I don't know, but they're working. People are working, okay? You know, the pandemic seems to be under some control anyway. I mean, it seems like people are dealing with this in a logical way. I mean, they had to be dragged kicking and screaming to do this, but it seems like more people now are listening, taking precautions. You don't hear people so much complaining about the monkeypox thing, which means that maybe these people have finally reasoned out in their mind that it's good to listen to the CDC, and it's good to get your advice from people who care, who are not trying to watch you die in a hospital filled with other dying patients. Okay, nobody deserves to leave this world that way. Okay, all those people that died, they can thank Donald Trump for that, because most of them were misled into believing that the pandemic was not needed, it was not real, it was bullshit, and it was just a regular cold people could get through. Okay, how many of those people are how much blood is on his fucking hands? I don't know. A lot. Hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million, okay? That makes him the biggest serial killer in the world history. Okay, well, maybe not world history, because I have to figure Hitler and World War II, but that makes him the biggest serial killer in the United States, okay? The biggest serial killer. And that means, he's probably the worst criminal ever in this country. That's saying a lot. I mean, I ain't going out on a limb here. That's saying a lot. And we're still uncovering the crimes that he did. That right there shows what money can do to somebody and what somebody can do with money. Okay? This is why Americans don't like the idea of rich people not paying their taxes, not contributing to the country as a whole. You know what I'm saying? They want them to contribute. If you're going to be an American, then by God, you work in the community that we have. You all contribute to it. Everybody. No matter what it is. Okay, that's the way it is. If you don't like that, then don't live here. But when you live in the United States, it's like living in a big community or like a small town kind of thing where everybody chips in to help something, help things out. That's what it is. Don't complain when taxes are taken out of your paychecks. That money comes back to you in so many ways you don't even realize it, okay? But when I tell people this, I mean, a lot of them will just chuckle like, oh, you don't know nothing or something. Well, okay, I do know something about it because, I'm a recipient of people paying their taxes. Okay, I get money to live on through the VA system, which is also funded by taxpayer systems. I see how many people in the VA system are helped through the tax system. Okay, it may not be as much as some would hope they would get, but they're getting something. At least they're getting health care. Okay, which I hope one day everybody in this country deserves to get, because if you are an American, it shouldn't be just beneficial to veterans, it should be beneficial to all Americans to have this kind of health care. It's not perfect, I gather, because there's not enough staff, okay, in a lot of these places to handle the workload, but it runs efficiently as best as it can. It used to be a piece of shit of an organization when my father used to go to the VA, but it's improved immeasurably, in the decades since. So I think that all Americans should enjoy having a system like this to live with. Nobody should have to lose everything because of a hospital bill. That's not fair. Even Biden said that's not fair. Okay? But you'll never hear a Republican talk like that. You'll never hear a Republican admit to something like that. Okay? If they hear a Democrat talking like that, they're going to attack them for that. When you hear of a Democrat passing something that's going to help people, like the Universal Care Act, or Obamacare, as they call it in short, they'll do everything and vow that they'll dismantle it, destroy it, chew it up, spit it out in any way they can to destroy it. And then after they do so, say, see, we told you it didn't work. Okay, so this is what you get from the right wing. This is why nobody should ever vote for a Republican candidate, no matter what the hell they're running on, no matter what the hell they say. They don't deserve your fucking support. They lost their credibility as a political party in this country. They do not deserve to be sitting in the Senate. That party has to be abolished. It has to be replaced with something better. Maybe the people in the Lincoln Project know of better people that can serve the conservative point of view. Because we certainly do need to have that as part of our government in order to make sure that we don't leap before we look into things, okay? Because that's the way the Conservative Party used to be. People, they'd be progressive, but it's like, well, wait a minute. Before we do that, let's check to see what would happen if we do that, okay? We have to have people who are like watchdogs to make sure the country doesn't overextend itself. So yes, we need a healthy conservative party. We do not need this. We do not need a fascist organization, because that actually is opposite of a conservative party, okay? Because they in themselves will overextend the country for its own benefit, okay? They will take away people's liberties and stuff like that to strengthen the core of the government body, which is an overreach of government power. So they're arguing the opposite of what the Conservative Party used to be. So people like Rush Limbaugh are not right-leaning enough these days. If he was still around talking, I doubt many people would agree with much what he says. It's in the Republican Party, because Limbaugh was old school Republican. Well, I'm not going to say old school, but he's the Reagan kind of conservative, Reaganite. And right now, Ronald Reagan would be considered too liberal for their point, for their purposes, even though they admire him and worship him as a fucking god in that party. Ronald Reagan is really more too timid to be of use to the GOP today. And proof of that is Mitch McConnell, who was around during Reagan, okay? But now you see how militant in his thinking he's gotten. And you see how stubborn he's gotten. He wasn't that way, long time back. But he's gotten more that way now because he realizes his base has turned into this fucking, Nazi bullshit group of people that are only interested in boosting their agenda. Okay, that's why he's still there. That's why he does what he says, what he says, and does what he does. He's afraid to lose his power. He doesn't know how to make a living except being on the Senate floor and kicking out the legs from under the Democrats all the time. That's all he's good for, which means he's a do-nothing. Okay, it's like having a football player on your team who refuses to play. Okay, but he stays on the team. Okay, he stays on the team, but he refuses to play. That's Mitch McConnell. He stays on the team, but he doesn't want to do anything for America. Okay, unless there's a Republican sitting in the White House, and even then probably he'd have reservations. But the fact is, he's not doing anything, and I wouldn't be too proud of the football team he's sitting with anyway, with the Marjorie Taylor Greens or the crazy wannabes there, and the Lauren Boeberts. Okay, more crazy people. I wouldn't want to be too proud of having those people standing behind me. So yeah, I mean that's. But this, like I said, this is where we are as a country right now, and it feels like we're at a crossroad here, where, we can go down, we can allow ourselves to be pulled by the nose down this fucking fascist road, and see what happens, or we can do what's happening now by bringing things to justice, trying to correct the mistakes that we made, trying to repair the damage that was made. And see what happens. Okay. Personally, I'd rather go down the path of trying to repair things, and not so much reliving you know, or making things worse. I mean, that's the last thing we want, right? Is to make things worse. I certainly don't want to make things worse, because there's a future you got to think about too, you know. I mean, and plus we have an issue going on, an international issue brewing, where we have you know, countries gearing up for war, and the United States being in the crosshairs. Okay, and so we need a strong government right now. We need a people in the government who are behind, you know, sitting behind this issue here, you know, standing behind America, because we need unity in this country. We need to be strong. Like I said in a previous video, we got to boost up our manufacturing ability in this country in order to fight off a sustained war or something, because only the country with the best manufacturing ability is going to win such a war. So we need to be able to unify the country and get rid of the fascist thinkers, because they're only going to make things worse in a situation like that. Okay, they're already defending Putin and, you know, thinking he's the greatest thing since sliced cheese, but the fact is Putin is tearing his country apart the same way Trump was tearing our country apart, only he's succeeding a lot better at it than Trump ever did. Okay, because we're still able to prosecute Trump, where over there in Russia, Putin will never see justice for what he's doing, and that's a sad thing for those people to realize, is that over there, a leader can be a criminal and still be considered the leader of the country, and nobody can do a fucking thing about it. That's what the Republicans want to turn our country into, a thing like that, where whenever one of them is in power, it's okay for them to commit crimes and never answer to the law, because they are above the law. They don't agree with the law. They don't agree with the principles of this country. They want to get rid of them and write up a whole new doctrine, okay, which is going to benefit nobody but themselves. They're going to totally leave out everybody that had any reasonable abilities at all, okay? That's going to exclude you, me, every voter in this country that doesn't think conservatively, and that's, or basically fascistly, I should say. So anybody that does that is not going to be welcome in their government. And I don't want to see that happen here. Jesus, I mean, that's not the country that I swore an oath to when I signed up for the military. Okay. So, anyway, getting a little bit long here. So, I will close this for today, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll try to upload this video here today when I have the chance to. So if you see it, it'll be more recent. And please keep your ears open to local COVID-19 news and any information that's going around about the monkeypox thing. And please treat each other nicely. It comes back to you in karma, you know, like you think good things will happen to you, you don't even know why, but it happens, it works. And subscribe and comment so I can hear anything or any questions or any opinions or something that you have. And you know, be courteous here. You know, don't write and try to start a fight, because I'll block you right off the bat if you try that stuff. Okay, I got no compunctions here about doing that. So take care, everybody, and I will talk to you later. So bye bye.